Can we please stand for the flag salute? All right, we'll proceed with the roll call.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I will call Chair Jones,
Present.
Vice Chair Daley,
Present.
Commissioner Liang,
Present.
Commissioner Quill,
Here.
Commissioner Ruiz,
Present.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Present.
Commissioner Wolbert,
Here.
Commissioners Durr and Lopez are excused. We have quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to the administration of oath. Are there any speakers wishing to speak on any of the agenda items on the agenda for the October 9th Planning Commission meeting? I see no speakers, so we will proceed to public comments not on the agenda. Is there anyone wishing to speak on any matter that's not on the agenda? Moving forward. Consent items are considered routine in nature and may be enacted in one motion. All public and non-public hearing items will be opened at one time. Any item may be discussed separately upon request of a member of the Planning Commission or a member of the public. Does the staff have any updates to the consent calendar?
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. For the consent calendar, we only have the minutes of September the 11th. Our recommendation is for them to be approved as submitted, please. No further updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the consent calendar items? If not, may I entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar? We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The consent calendar carries unanimously.
If I may, Chairman, I would like to introduce our new Commissioner, Alfonso Ruiz. He's joining us this evening. He was sworn in by the Mayor and Common Council or City Council last week, and so he is here to join us, and he can participate in the actions on the agenda.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you here, Commissioner Ruiz.
Thank you.
The Planning Commission will first hear a report from the staff, and then public hearing will be opened. The applicant will have the opportunity to speak. Next, members of the public will be allowed to speak. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak must be sworn in and also fill out a speaker request slip. The forms are located on the table near the door. When your name is called, come forward, speak into the microphone, spell your name, and give your address for the taped record. After all have spoken, the applicant will be allowed to respond. The public hearing will be taken then by the Planning Commission, and deliberations will be made to make a decision. All actions except general plan amendments and the Municipal Development Code are final unless an appeal is filed and a fee is paid within 15 days to the Community Development Department. Moving on, public hearing item number 2, conditional use 16-20. Can we have the staff report for that?
Yes, Council Commissioners. The item number 2, which is conditional use permit 16-20, is for the property located at 1293 West 5th Street. It's a request to expand an existing nightclub. At this point, we are recommending that the Commission continue this item, open and continue the public hearing, I should say, to the next meeting of November the 18th, so that we can further conclude our environmental determination for the project. We have previously prepared a staff report for that. We're in transition, as you may know, in the department, and so we just wanted to be able to route that item for the appropriate bodies for review prior to bringing it to the Commission. So with that, we're requesting a continuance to the next meeting, please.
All right. Do we have any questions from the commissioners to the staff? Is there anyone wishing to speak on public item number 2? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move staff's recommendation to continue.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on, agenda item number 3, conditional use permit 18-14. Staff, can we please have the report?
Of course. This item involves a property located at 1790 South E Street. It's for an expansion of an auto body shop. Again, we are requesting that this item be continued to November 13th at the next council meeting.
Does the commission have any questions for staff in regards to item number 3? Does the public wish to speak on item number 3? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move staff's recommendation that we continue.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on, I hereby open public hearing item number 4, conditional use permit 18-12 and public convenience or necessity letter 18-05. Staff, can we please have the staff report?
Yes, please. This item involves a property located at 5985 North Palm Avenue. It's over off of Palm, adjacent to the 215 freeway. This item is being continued at the request of Caltrans. There was a traffic study that was prepared that had been revised, and so we're hoping to have their comments in time for this meeting. That did not occur, so we are requesting that this item be continued to the meeting of November 13th, please.
Thank you. Also, looking ahead, I see that item 4 may also be a continuance as well.
That is correct.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to open up agenda items number 3 and 4 simultaneously at the same time. Do we have a second?
Is that?
Or agenda items number 4 and 5 are continuances, correct?
No, 5 is not. 5, we are having a public hearing.
Okay, so this is the last one.
That's correct.
Oh, okay, we should have did this like 2 items ago. Okay. I tried. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to continue this item to the next meeting.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Moving on, agenda item number 5. General Plan Amendment 18-05, Development Code Amendment, Zoning Map Amendment 18-03, Conditional Use Permit 18-03, and Mitigated Negative Declaration. I hereby open this public hearing item. Staff, can we please have the report?
Yes, Travis Martin from our department will be presenting this item, please.
Yes, thank you, Oliver, and thank you, Chair. Item number 5 tonight, as you mentioned, General Plan Amendment 1802, Development Code Amendment 1803, and Conditional Use Permit 1803. It's a request to change the general plan land use designation of a parcel from multifamily residential to commercial, along with changing the zoning district classification from residential medium high to commercial general 1, for the purpose of establishing one site entirely zoned commercial general. This site would be composed of 4 parcels, approximately 1 1/3 acres, that would then be merged into one single lot for the purpose of developing a drive-through express car wash, approximately 5,500 square feet in size. This is located at 1659 South Tippecanoe Avenue. This is on the east side of Tippecanoe, just below Gould, Breyer and Gould, and immediately above Davidson. As you see, the zoning right now is primarily CG1. There's one parcel, one of the 4, that we are proposing to change to commercial from the residential designation. This is the existing site. This is looking kind of at the north end of the property, looking at Tippecanoe, going down Gould. Along the frontage of the site, as you can see, everything that was previously on the site, which included some old non-conforming residential, has been demolished quite a while back. And then the southern end of the site, you can still see the remainder of the vacant property looking down Davidson. The site itself would take the entire frontage along Tippecanoe, one single building for the car wash, kind of centered on the site. main drive aisle along the back of the property that's a straight shot through, running from Gould north to south down to Davidson. So all of the access would be off of those two streets. There wouldn't be any direct access off of Tippecanoe itself. Queuing lanes, dual queuing lanes, that run along the frontage of the building, looping around to the car wash itself. Some of the elevations for the building, a little more of a contemporary style on this one. A little more modern elements, a little bit of metal mixed in. This frontage, the eastern elevation here that's actually the western elevation, I apologize for the typo. This would be the view along Tippecanoe. So you have the building itself, the car wash tunnel with some open glass running through the middle. And then you can see a little bit more of kind of the distinct architecture on the north and south elevations. The landscaping on this one is fairly dense landscaping proposed. We have quite the main landscaped area right along the frontage in front of the queuing lanes with quite dense vegetation, number of trees. You have the trees right along the front of the building, kind of flanking that window area, and then a fairly dense line of shrubbery along what is the eastern elevation that abuts the other existing residential to help buffer that. I didn't mention on the other site with the site plan, but does come up now. The vacuum stations would also be along that main drive aisle behind the building. And our recommendation this evening is to forward a recommendation to the mayor and city council to adopt the mitigated negative declaration and approve the general plan amendment, development code amendment, and conditional use permit subject to the findings and recommended conditions. One note with the conditions, there were two exhibits that were left on at everyone's seat this evening. After publication of the resolution, after this was posted and distributed, there was actually some refinement that was done with the public works conditions, specifically condition number 32 regarding the street improvements, regarding the dedications and the actual improvements for sidewalk, curb and gutter, and things of that sort. So what we are asking for this evening is to simply replace condition number 32. There is one copy. They look almost identical. But up in the top right corner, we have one that's noted as the existing. That is what is in the resolution right now. And we're simply looking to replace it with the document noted proposed. What that did primarily was there's some clarification on what the existing right-of-way is right now. Not going through every one of them, but it clarified the existing right-of-way. There was some clarification on what the radius needed to be for the corners themselves, both on Gould and Davidson. The sidewalk and curb and gutter and the transition that's going to need to be put in place for the adjacent property. And then a little bit regarding the street lights and some of the undergrounding of utilities. With that, I said our recommendation is to approve tonight with the proposed amendment to condition 32. And if anyone has any questions.
If I may, Commissioners, I would also like to point out condition number 16, the resolution. We typically, our code requires a 6 foot, at least a 6 foot high wall between the property and residential properties to the east. In this particular case, we are requesting an 8 foot high block wall for that separation between the car wash and the residences to the east.
Yes,
Just wanted to point that out as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Oliver.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is that condition already included in the modifications that are proposed in front of us, or
It's
that
already
condition?
included.
Okay.
It's
That was
already in there.
included in the original reso. That's not part of the requested modification this evening.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Excellent. Does the commission have any questions for staff at this point? Commissioner Daley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the proposal to change the general plan designation is just for the single parcel?
Correct.
And is there a,
There we are.
yeah, there you go, okay.
Yeah. The parcels that
Okay,
the parcels already fronting Tippecanoe had the
Mhm.
commercial designation. It was just
Mhm.
to square off the block. The single parcel does need to be
so
changed from
the
residential.
one that's going to change is the one in the lower right?
Yes, the one. It's hard to point on there. Yeah, on the bottom right here. The one that's kind of the darker brown.
Yeah, okay. So then it would just be so that would be a contiguous.
Yeah, it would result in one contiguous parcel, all zoned commercial general.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Maybe perhaps question for the applicant? Maybe at the next round, possibly.
Okay, we'll open public comments on here. We have a speaker, Tom Altima. Have you been sworn in, sir?
No, sir.
Okay.
If you would, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this body will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Can you please state your name and address for the taped record?
My name is Tom Utman, U-T-M-A-N, and our address is 567 San Nicolas Drive in Newport Beach, California, 92660. And I'm the owner of Fast 5 Express. We've been around for 6 years. We have several of these throughout Southern California. And we are under construction now in Paris. Well, we've opened in Paris. We're opening in Yucaipa. We're under construction in Beaumont, and we would love to be here. So I'm here to answer any questions. We have facilities in Irvine. We have facilities in Murrieta. We're the largest in Southern California, and so far everybody loves us, and hopefully this community will appreciate what we're going to be doing. So I'm here to answer any questions. Travis, we've been working with Travis for about 6 months now, and so anytime we've had to have some issues, we've always gone to Travis. He's always worked it out. We've done soils, we've done noise reports, we've done traffic reports, so
It's been a while.
pretty much everything that we've analyzed it very well. We look forward to it.
Excellent. Does the commission have any questions for the applicant?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edmund, for being here tonight. I appreciate the design. In terms of the location, was there an opportunity to kind of maybe for a commercial restaurant establishment that would sort of tie it in with along the commercial uses on the west side, on Briar? Was there, in terms of I understand that you've been doing this with 5 other locations, but was there an opportunity maybe for a drive-through, some sort of commercial restaurant establishment? I believe further south of your site, there's a brand-new restaurant. Help me here, Travis, or Crane? Is it Cane?
Raising Cane's, yes, sir.
Yeah, Crazy Crane. So was there some sort of vision that would perhaps utilize the site to kind of tied with the synergy in terms of the commercial establishment out there, hospitality, restaurant road, that kind of thing?
Unfortunately, I've got to answer it no. We have been doing this, and we have been so successful that we know our business plan very well. We try not to include any other activities that might compete with other restaurants or compete with other shopping center across the street. Like there's 7-Eleven that's just been built. There's Starbucks that's just been built. And the reason we went there is because of those activities that are going to be across the street. This was proposed to be a restaurant at one point, but they decided not to go there. And so the landlord actually is a restaurant that is going to be leasing it to us. So for whatever reason, that restaurant decided not to go, and then we did our due diligence, and we looked at the competition, we looked at demographics, and this will be a very successful site. So no, to answer your question, we did not look at it. We just don't integrate different uses on our site.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the applicant from the commission?
Yes, I had a quick question. Since you're going to be entering through Golding and Davidson, is there any form of repairs that you can do to the street since there might be more traffic in that area? What's going to be done for the residents in that section?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we are
perfect.
doing some work.
Your mic, Travis. Your mic.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah, just referring to the proposed condition that we're looking to update, that actually covers all of the street improvements and the kind of the off-site improvements. It would be limited to just the frontage of the property, so what's on Tippecanoe, any repair that needs to be done there, and then the new improvements along Gould and Davidson, but only for the width of the property. But that would include new curb and gutter, the sidewalk that has to go in, and then the actual improvements, the rehab of the street itself. But nothing further down, you know, into the neighborhood.
Chairman, you mentioned that you've done noise studies.
Yes, sir.
Typically, I mean, car washes are pretty noisy.
Well, this is a pretty unique, yes, they are, first of all. But this type of car wash, the new express car washes, everything is in the tunnel. Everything is inside the building. None of the vacuum equipment or anything like that is outside. Some people put it outside and it's very loud. We have everything inside. And one of the conditions in our soils, our sound study was last 30 feet of our tunnel, we have to put sound barriers to deaden the sound inside the building itself. But we have been, for instance, 17th Street in Costa Mesa, we're up against $1 million homes, right on the other side of the wall. And we did put an 8-foot wall in, and we've never had an issue. Murrieta, same thing, we're right against $700,000 homes in Murrieta, never had an issue. So it's not unusual, but we always do sound studies. We want to be a good neighbor. We do not want to have problems later on, nor do the city or anybody else wants to be going out there and having complaints made. So we try to address those issues real quickly. We design the facility, taking all that into consideration. And you can see that tunnel is it's quite a number of feet away from the east property line.
I would just add, just to clarify, as Mr. Utman had mentioned, the sound absorbent material is included as one of the mitigation measures in the MMRP, which is one of the exhibits on the resolution, Exhibit B. Additionally, as he said, the tunnel itself is about 80 to 100 feet away from the adjacent residential properties. And then, since that is where the parking in the main drive aisle is, that's why we required that additional height on that wall, going from the 6 to 8 feet, which we did on the project that Commissioner Liang had mentioned as well, the drive-through further south. And that is the reason for the kind of denser shrubbery along that frontage there, or along that eastern side, to help buffer or kind of diffuse that noise before it gets further into the neighborhood.
Yeah, I noticed the landscaping. That's a good buffer right there.
Mhm.
I've used that in the past myself. But, all right, sounds good.
Thank you.
One quick question. In terms of management, how would that be carry out? Is that Monday through Saturday? Would there be like a manager on site, or how does that work? If you could elaborate on that.
We'll hire
Thank you.
between 12 and 15 people for this facility. There's always 3 people there, plus when it's busy, a 4th. I'll tell you how it works. We believe in personal greetings, so we are not having kiosks where there's loud things coming out or anything announcing you when you drive up. We have a personal person there that greets you. Once you pay, they go around that curve, and then we have a greeter, and the greeter loads you into the tunnel. You never get out of your car. I'll diverse a little bit. 60% of our customers are women with children because they don't like to get their kids out of the safety seats. They go through the tunnel, and then they wrap around, go into the vacuum area, and we have a manager that's there all the time, and he rotates around, making sure everybody's happy, it's clean, no loud music coming out of the radios, and we try to keep the vacuums for 5 minutes so we can keep turning the people as they go through the operation. But usually there's 3 people, But when it gets busy on the weekends, we'll probably have 4. We're open from 7 a.m. until 8 o'clock, and during the winter, we go to only till 7 o'clock, just because it's dark outside. So after 7, 8 o'clock at night, it's dark. I mean, it's quiet. Nobody there.
Thank you.
I just had a question about I don't know a lot about the car wash, but I assume there's high concentration soaps and maybe chemicals. The storage of that is going to be housed indoors?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any waste water produced? Everything that goes in the
Everything
drains?
is, we reclaim all our water. One of the big things that I promote is water conservation. We'll educate the community not to wash their cars on their driveways. All that residue goes into the storm drains. We collect everything on site. We'll save the water district about 20 million gallons a year versus people washing their cars on their driveways in apartment buildings and so forth. Everything's reclaimed, recycled. We do not sell or use any chemicals that are not biodegradable. Everything is environmentally friendly, and very little goes into the storm drain. We collect everything, and then we have an environmental licensed truck that comes in and pumps out the underground tanks that we have, and they haul it away. So nothing goes in, very little goes into the storm drain other than just dripping off the car. But we like to say that we're very environmentally friendly and conserve water.
So there are underground tanks?
There's 5. There's 5 tanks underground where the vacuums are, and the water goes in one, goes in another, filters, goes in another. Finally, then it's pumped back inside the tunnel, and then it goes through a reclamation water filtration system, and then we use it again.
Are they double-walled tanks?
Yes.
With leak detection? And
Yes, they're all up to the latest standards.
Okay.
Thank you. Just a question about kind of the process here. I'm looking at the site plan.
Yes.
So customer comes in, drives through, gets greeted, goes into the tunnel, doesn't get out of the car.
Right.
It's like an auto car wash type situation.
This is a 150-foot long tunnel.
Uh-huh.
If you look at gas station tunnels behind gas stations, they're usually 40 to 50, 60 feet long and very loud just because they're so short, and the blowers are usually almost on the outside. The longer the tunnel, the cleaner the car, and the less noisy it is, just because the equipment is inside further. When you come out of the tunnel, the exiting is toward the north, I guess, and then that person that comes out of that tunnel can veer right and go into the vacuums. They don't have to. They can leave. The vacuums are all free. I just went through another one tonight that just opened in Redlands, and their pricing was $8 to $20. Ours is $6 to $14. So ours are very economical. It only takes you 5 minutes to get a car wash and a vacuum. 60% of the people will vacuum. 40% will just leave just because they want a clean car. They don't need to vacuum every time they go in. And again, 60% of our customers are women.
Okay. And then just a final question. If the commission were to approve this and you were to get the green light, what is your timeline for construction and opening?
We've already started our construction drawings. We believe in the staff, and we believe in the hearings that we've had so far, the design review board and everything else that we've gone through. So usually we don't kick our construction drawings off too soon, because if it's denied, obviously we don't want to spend a lot of money. We have just started their construction loans. Once we got our construction drawings, once we got the conditions of approval and accepted the conditions, we felt confident enough to start. So it'll take us about 2 months to get construction drawings done. It'll take the city 3 to 4 months to go through the building permit process. So there's 6 months. Then we'll build it. And it takes us about 6 months to build. So in about a year, middle of next year, we'll be open. Mhm.
One last quick question,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Udom. You mentioned vacuums. Where are those would be located exactly? Would they be further away from the residential properties?
No, they're
They are located.
located
it's
along the building
The
and on the
larger
other
stalls
side.
here
of the-
flanking
yeah.
the
There's
the
about
main
half and
drive
half.
aisle.
Both sides of the drive aisle that goes out, the two-way drive that you can get off of Gould and Davidson. So the vacuums are on the back. Queuing's up in front. And we have a lot of queuing in this.
Can you point that out? I'm sorry, Travis.
Sorry. They are the drive aisle. This, I know that the picture's oriented a little wrong way. It's a long site, so I had to turn it. Along the drive aisle here, where the two entries are and the entry to the queuing lanes, all of these stalls here. So kind of flanking on either side. There's about 24 of them, I
About
believe.
24, I believe, yes.
24, 25. They are on the side, I think to your question, on the side facing the residential properties.
So because they're abutting the residential property, are there specs that would, or sort of shield that would reduce the noise to the noise level, or how does that work?
I mean, the structures themselves, I don't believe have any kind of shielding on them.
No, all the condensers and so forth are all inside. Everything's underground. All the piping is underground. And the condensers for the vacuums are all inside the building.
The units, I believe you see themselves, may be able to elaborate. It's really just a partial shade structure, and then they typically just have the hose coming out kind of the support structure itself. So all of the other equipment, as Mr. Ottman mentioned, is further away from those properties. That was also, because of the location there, that was also the reasoning, as I had mentioned, for the increased height on the wall and that denser vegetation to help with that proximity.
With the landscaping that we're putting in, the 8-foot wall, it's going to be pretty nice. It's going to be a real addition to the area.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
A last quick question. About the street lights, where are they going to be placed exactly, and how many are going to be placed there? I know that it's approved here that you guys are going to have LED street lights, but is any going to be going into
I believe the final location on the lights would have to still be determined. Let me...
Okay.
Oh, okay, thank
Would
you.
any be added and everything to give a little bit more, so one for security and then two, just...
Yeah, we have on-site lighting that is dimmed once we close, and then we have 16 cameras that are there all the time that we're watching. So there is going to be a lot of security there, and nighttime lighting, but the lighting is, we've been required to have limited lighting because we didn't want to
Disturb the
disturb
residents.
anybody.
Yeah, for all on-site lighting, it's a standard condition that it has to be shielded away from any other adjacent property, whether it's
Correct.
residential, commercial, or otherwise.
Right.
For the lights themselves, I believe the existing are located kind of over at the corner themselves where the street light, or where the traffic signals are.
Okay.
So they're a little bit further down from the adjacent properties.
Okay. Will any be added to maybe the ends going towards kind of like the neighbors, or?
I don't...
I don't know how far it goes down, but toward, they're on site to the corner, probably.
I'm not sure about the on-site, but off-site, the existing streetlights are there. They're located in the stagger, I think 300 feet. Even, so they're located right, but I think the on-site is what she's concerned about because of lighting on the neighborhood. But
Yeah, and they have to be
firewall,
shielded.
Yeah.
Right.
They have shields on them in the back
I
of the
think-
lights, so the only light comes in toward our property.
Right.
The frontage, for the just so that we can be clear, the off-site and the on-site, the frontage along Gould and Davidson, because it's only so deep, it's not enough to justify the second light. When
Right,
you have the
okay.
one at the corner, it would have to be further down into the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
The on-site lighting, it's not shown on the preliminary plans right now, the exact placement, but we do have standard conditions, again, for, in addition to just the shielding, for maintaining a specific level of lighting throughout the site.
Right.
So that if, there's not going to be any dark spots or anything like that for security reasons.
Right, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a drive-through car wash now?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. I'm just relating to some of the car washes around. You can get every form of snack food that ever was invented. So this is not a...
No, we don't sell anything. We don't even sell a Christmas card.
There you go.
Well, we do have, I guess there is a vending machine that if you want a little smell-good thing that you can hang on your mirror, you can buy one of those, or a towel. Other than that, we don't sell anything.
Not hats and everything
No
else
hats,
you
no
see.
Christmas cards, no, nothing. Our philosophy is that we're offering something that is very convenient, very fast, and very economical. And we only want the people on site for 5 minutes. And it's well received. We'll do 2.5 million cars this year. That's a lot of cars.
Thank you.
You bet.
If the Planning Commission doesn't have any more questions for the applicant, I will entertain a motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make the motion. Let's see. I move that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2018-059, forwarding recommendation that the Mayor and Common Council, Mayor and City Council adopt mitigated negative declaration for General Plan Amendment 18-02, Development Code Amendment 18-03, and Conditional Use Permit 18-03 in accordance with Section 15074 of CEQA, and approve General Plan Amendment 18-02, Development Code Amendment 18-03, and Conditional Use Permit 18-03 based on the finding of facts, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. Mouthful.
Okay.
If I may, to also include the amended condition number 32, please.
I was just going to mention.
Along with amended condition number 32.
I didn't think you had said enough, so we wanted to
Yeah, I
get
just
that in
figured
there.
maybe some more airtime. Okay.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion. Now we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's a pleasure to work with the city, and we're looking forward to go to the council and get their approval.
We look forward to that as well.
And I'll work very fast to get this thing done.
We look forward to it. Thank you. Good night, sir. Moving on, Planning Commission reports and announcements. Does anyone from the commission have a report or announcement?
Got a quick announcement. Up in the Fifth Ward, we had 3 weeks ago, there's Starbucks and Dairy Queen just opened up recently, so do come by. It's right off Palm and Kendall, south side of the 7-Eleven, existing multi-tenant commercial center there. So yeah, come enjoy your get your coffee. Thank you.
Excellent. Nice. That's great. That's excellent. I just wanted to welcome Commissioner Ruiz to the San Bernardino City Planning Commission again.
Thank you. Just to give you guys a little bit of background, lived in San Bernardino for about 5 years. Lived here with my family. I have 3 kids. One goes to Cajon. She's a freshman. I look forward to the teenage years. I have an undergraduate degree in urban planning from USC, and have worked in environmental consulting for a few years. Worked on NEPA and CEQA documents. And I currently work for a steel mill in Rancho Cucamonga. I work in the environmental department. So we have an air permit, stormwater permit, and we generate hazardous waste. So it keeps me busy. But I'm happy to serve, and I look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you, Commissioner. We are glad to have you here. Moving on, we'll have the director's report.
Yes, Commissioners, I have nothing new to report on this item, on this agenda. I will mention, if you recall, we had that apartment complex, 84 units up there on Waterman and Rear, that you forwarded a recommendation. The council did approve that meeting ago, so that's gone through, went through the second reading at the last council meeting. And we had that adaptive reuse project on there off of 17th and D Street. That one was continued, so that'll be going back to them. But we are looking forward to having that one proceed as well. That's really it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Director. At this time, we will adjourn our meeting. I will entertain a motion. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Everyone have a nice night. Thank you.